Hello everybody, Tiri back again with another video. Oh boy guys, we have a big Grand Slam final just around the corner between two really big walls. One wall coming from Serbia, Novak Djokovic, the world number one, and the other wall coming from Russia, the world number 4, Daniil, the Bear Medvedev. Man, what a match we have around the corner. Who will be played tomorrow? I can't wait, man. I can't wait. And this will be, of course, a preview video in this Australian Open Final 2021. And trust me, guys, trust me when I say this. Since I started my YouTube videos, which has been now in 2 years. I started back in 2019 when the Australian Open. The first video I ever did was back in 2019 Australian Open draw. This preview, this prediction, this analysis is, for me, is the hardest one to do. And this for me is the hardest one to pick. Even though when I picked Djokovic to defeat Nadal 4 months ago at French Open, I never really deep inside of me felt comfortable with that pick. I really never was. I just thought that Novak Djokovic, he's the player who has defeated Nadal most times of all players, all surfaces. And Novak Djokovic is the player who has defeated Nadal most times on clay with 7 times. And I thought it is time for Novak to finally, is it someone who can defeat Nadal in a French Open final? Is it him? But I never really deep inside of me believed that. So this Australian Open 2021 final between Djokovic and Medvedev for me is the hardest one to pick. And before I go, I'm going to deliver and announce my decision, who I'm picking and why. I'm going to go these two players' strengths and weaknesses, if they have any weaknesses, which they barely have. Let's start with Daniil Medvedev. Daniil Medvedev, he has won 9 titles, I believe. 4 big ones, 3 Masters and 1 ATP 2 finals in London, which he did 3 months ago. Yeah, what can we say about Daniil Medvedev? He's a younger version of Novak Djokovic, in my opinion, who is a baseline grinder, who likes to stay at the baseline and hit blows and hit blows and hit blows. He likes to squeeze unforced errors from his opponents. He has a great shot tolerance. He's really good defensive. He has a really good defense. He has really great skills in his defensive play. He has great offensive skills. Has a huge serve. Great serve. Great returns. And also is strong mentally, in my opinion. He's not weak mentally. I believe he has played 6 big finals in his career so far, and he has won 4 of them. 4 Master 1000 finals, won 3 of them, lost only 1 against Rafael Nadal back in 2019 in the Rogers Cup, where Rafa defeated him in straight sets, 6-3, 6-love, I believe. And the other final that he has lost, also to the same dude, Rafael Nadal, same year. The other big final, I mean, because he has lost other small finals, but big finals. I'm talking about US Open. Daniil Medvedev's first Grand Slam final. 2019, also against Nadal, he lost a tight, epic battle in 5 sets, lost the 5th set 6-4. So clearly Daniil Medvedev, he's strong mentally. Let's say a player like Thiem, who has played, I believe, let me think here, 4 Grand Slam finals. Thiem has played 3 Master 1000 finals, 7, and 2 ATP 2 finals in London, 9. And all of these 9 big finals, Thiem has won only 2. 1 Grand Slam final, 2020 against Zverev, like we know, and 1 who Master 1000 final 2019 against Federer. So out of 9 big finals, team has lost 7. If you look at Medvedev, who has played 6 big finals, he has won 4 of them. So Medvedev is also very strong mentally. He brings so much difficulties into the court. It is so difficult hitting through him. If you don't have the firepower, if you don't have huge ground strokes, you will not hit through him. He covers the court so exceptionally well, even though he's a big dude, 6 feet long. He covers the court so damn good. So hitting through him is a nightmare. You will need to hit 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times big, huge ground strokes to make a winner. On hard courts, I should say. And hard courts is his best surface. Grass and clay are his worst surface, especially grass. Especially clay. He's not successful at all on clay. Actually, he actually has never won 1 match in French Open. Ever. He has always been knocked out in the first round. And the same case was, of course, that last year. Lost the first round in French Open. So Daniil Medvedev, and let's not forget, he's on a hot winning streak with 20 matches. Started last year in Paris Masters. And has defeated 12 top 10 opponents in a row in this hot winning streak, which has been 20 matches now. So Novak Djokovic, he will have the absolute hardest possible opponent tomorrow. He will face a player who will give Novak Djokovic his own medicine. Great shot tolerance, really consistent from the baseline, good returns, an absolute elite defensive skills, strong mentally, big serve. He basically has everything that Novak Djokovic have. Basically everything. What does Novak Djokovic have? Good returns, the best returns of all time in my opinion. Great consistency from the baseline, good shot tolerance, good serve nowadays, much better serve than say 3, 4, 5 years ago. So everything Novak Djokovic brings to the table, Daniil Medvedev also brings to the table. That's why this preview, this prediction is so murderous hard for me to do. But I need to do one. So this is a nightmare opponent for Novak Djokovic. And I must say, of all the Australian Open finals Novak Djokovic has had in previous years, this will be his 9th, which is bloody impressive. I believe this is the hardest one for Novak Djokovic to overcome. Yeah, he has had some Australian Open finals against Nadal, 2 Australian Open finals, and the most epic one that we remember, and which is one of the greatest matches of all time. That was, of course, that 2012 Australian Open final. But we have to also not forget one thing. Rafa Nadal's best surface is not hard court. Rafa Nadal's best surface, we all know which surface it is. Of course, it is clay. And Andy Murray has had some finals against Andy Murray. Novak Djokovic, I believe 4 Australian Open finals, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm counting up here in my head. And he has won all those 4 Australian Open finals against Andy Murray. None of these Australian Open finals has gone to 5 sets against Andy Murray. He has won them in 4 or in 3 sets, if I'm not mistaken, Novak Djokovic. Because Andy Murray, he's a kind of a similar player as Novak Djokovic, but everything Andy Murray does, Novak Djokovic does better. Returns, Novak Djokovic does better. Consistency from the baseline, Novak Djokovic does better. Mentally, Novak Djokovic is better than Andy Murray. Maybe only one shot that Murray has better than Novak Djokovic. Maybe only one shot. At least I'm talking the old Murray, not now. It was the first serve. Andy Murray's second serve was not good. That was his big weakness. And Andy Murray is a passive player. He plays 3, 4, 5 meters behind the baseline. Medvedev is a new version of Andy Murray, but upgraded version, a better version, with stronger maybe serve, more offensive, better skills than Andy Murray. At least in my opinion, Andy Murray was pretty passive, even though the Medvedev can also be passive sometimes, but he can hurt you with his tennis close to the baseline, and he isn't as and Medvedev isn't a goalkeeper a la Andy Murray. Andy Murray was a big goalkeeper in my opinion. He was defending a lot. So that was Daniil Medvedev's strengths. And then we have some weaknesses in Daniil Medvedev's game, I must say. It is not much, guys. It is not much weakness. Daniil Medvedev doesn't have many holes in his game. But I was touching this this topic a little yesterday after Medvedev versus Stefan Tsitsipas. If you can find a little weakness in Daniil Medvedev's game, it is his forehand, man. If you can push him to the right corners, which I am pretty convinced Djokovic will do. Djokovic, he has done his homework. I'm pretty convinced about that. He has done his homework, Novak Djokovic. If you can push Daniil Medvedev to the right corners, not the left corners, because on the left corners with his backhand, he's super strong. If you push him on the right corners, which Djokovic will do tomorrow, I'm completely convinced about that, you will squeeze unforced errors from that shot. Because he's not that super strong when you get him on the right stretch and he's trying to hit his forehand. Because his forehand doesn't generate so much spin, guys. He hits his and his backhand as well. Especially his backhand. His backhand doesn't have any RPM on the ball at all. He hits that backhand so flat. And the case is with his forehand as well. So when you but he has sometimes little more topspin, especially when he hits his inside forehand, he can have little topspin. But when Daniil Medvedev tries to hit his running forehand, when you stretch him to the right corners, he doesn't have any RPM on the ball. He doesn't have any net clearance. And when he tries to go, which he did in some rare occasions against Tsitsipas in the semifinals, and when he tries to go down the line with his forehand, and he's stretched to the right corners, he will do errors. He will either hit the net, because the tape on the net, we all know, on the corners are higher. They are not low as the net is in the middle. We all know this. This is pretty obvious, those who watch tennis. And when he tries to hit his forehand on the corners, when he's on the stretch, when he's running to the right corners, he doesn't have RPM on the ball, so he will hit it so flat, and that is a difficult shot. It is a shot with very little margins. So he will either hit it long, like he did a couple of times against Tsitsipas, or he will hit the net. Because he doesn't have the topspin that helps him to land on the court. So that is a little weakness that of course Djokovic knows. If I know, the best tennis player in the world knows that even better than me. So he will go, I'm completely sure about this. The tactic from Djokovic tomorrow will be he will try to hit to Daniil Medvedev's forehand as much as possible. And take him to the stretch. And he will squeeze unforced errors when Novak Djokovic will do this kind of game plan tomorrow. Alright, let's go into Novak Djokovic's strengths and weaknesses. Novak Djokovic doesn't need so much presentation, guys. He's an elastic, great mover on the court, even though that Medvedev is a great mover. I forgot to say about him. He's a great mover to be a big, tall dude, 6 feet long. He's great, one of the best movers in the game, in my opinion, even though that he's so long and so big. Djokovic is an elastic, is a great mover on the court. He moves better than anyone on the tennis court, especially hard courts. Nobody glides as he can do on hard courts. He I don't know how he do it. I don't know how he doesn't get injured when he glides on these hard courts. Novak Djokovic has immense and great defensive skills, exactly like Medvedev. That's why this matchup is so difficult and this preview is so hard. You cannot hit through Novak Djokovic easy. You need to hit 5, 6, 7 extra shots to hit through Novak Djokovic. Unbelievable defense. He will always make you play that extra shot until you, in the end, miss. He has great depth, Novak Djokovic. Exactly like Medvedev as well, also, by the way, have. Novak Djokovic has great depth. His balls, Novak Djokovic, they land almost always on the baseline. And that is the big problem that Nadal have, especially on hard courts. Because Nadal have that long and big topspin, he has so much RPM on the ball, so Nadal becomes very, very short many times on hard courts and grass, especially on hard courts. And that has been the case in many cases in Nadal's career, and he has lost a couple of matches during his career, Rafa Nadal. Novak Djokovic, he has much better length than Rafa Nadal because he generates less topspin. Novak Djokovic, he do more errors than Rafa Nadal in general, unforced errors, because he doesn't have big margins as, say, Rafa Nadal. Rafa Nadal has a very big margins in his shots. That's why Rafa Nadal doesn't hit the net so many times. When Rafa Nadal does unforced errors, his topspin goes long, his shots goes long. Rafa Nadal doesn't hit the net many times. And Djokovic, he generates less topspin than Rafa Nadal, but he generates more topspin than Daniil Medvedev, because Daniil Medvedev has so flat strokes. So Djokovic, one of Djokovic's biggest strengths is his length. He has great length on his shots. His movements, he really moves great on the court. His defensive skills, unbelievable defensive skills of Djokovic. It's so hard hitting through him. His returns, the greatest returns of all time. You need to be on top of with your service games to be successful and to hold your serve against Novak Djokovic. What did Alexander Sasha Zverev said when he lost his match against Novak Djokovic in the quarterfinal? When a reporter asked him, "What do you feel when you were a break up both in the first set, third set, and the fourth set? You were a break up and you couldn't convert those break point opportunities and you couldn't hold up those breaks that you had." And what was Alexander Sasha Zverev's answer? And I completely agree with him. Yes, he's so right. He said, if you don't remember, I will remind you guys. He said, one of the hardest things that we have in our sport is to hold serve against Novak. And he's so completely right. So Novak Djokovic, he asks you a very difficult question. He requires you to have big serves, to have a high percentage of first serves in, because if you don't, he will break your serve, guys. Because he's such an unbelievable returner. Novak Djokovic is, in my opinion, in a little decline. I've said this for a couple of months now. But when it comes to returning, he's not in a decline. He's returning as good as he has ever done. When it comes to serving, he's not in a decline, guys. He's serving the best serves that I've ever seen. He's serving maybe even better than his peak years, 2011, 2015, when he won 6 majors in these 2 years combined. At least the serves that Djokovic has produced in this year's ASL Open 2021, I have never seen Djokovic produce. I have never seen. He's doing so many aces. He's doing so much damage behind his first serve. He's finishing points. He's creating winners, so many winners, and he's finishing points off easy, not easy, but more times. Because what is Novak Djokovic? I'm gonna come to his weaknesses. He's finishing points off with success when he lands his first serve, and he's landing a lot of first serves in 2 matches in this tournament so far. He has landed over 70% first serves in. I believe in the first round against Chardy, he landed 76% first serves in. That is unbelievable. 76%, I believe. That is crazy, man. That is so impressive. 76% first service in. And against Alexander Sasha Zverev, he landed 73% first service in. That is high number. So Djokovic is doing a lot of aces, he's landing a lot of first serves in, and he's doing big damage behind the first serve in from 0 to 5 shots. Because doing big damage from 0 to 5 shots, it is not Novak Djokovic's strength, guys. Especially on slow surfaces. That's why he has won French Open only one time. He cannot create offense in slow surfaces. That's why I believe Novak Djokovic will never win French Open ever again. And that's why he has won US Open only 3 times. Because US Open has the last, say, if we compare US Open and Australian Open, yeah, they are hard courts, both of these 2 tournaments, but US Open has been much slower over the years than Australian Open. That is the truth, guys. They have speeded up US Open last year. They changed the surface last year, so the US Open is faster now than it used to be the last 10-15 years. But Australian Open, what I can remember, it has always been fast. Especially this year, this is the fastest Australian Open that I've ever seen. So, and Novak Djokovic is a hard court, fast court player. He loves fast courts, guys, because he doesn't have the hardest ground strokes on the tour. He doesn't possess firepower, guys. So he needs fast courts. And when he has fast courts, he is much more dangerous with his serve. He can do more winners. He can finish off points easier. You name it. That's why he has also been more successful in Wimbledon than US Open, because Wimbledon is obviously much faster than US Open. That's why he has won 5 Wimbledon titles out of 6 finals. So, Novak Djokovic he is in a decline. His endurance is not as good as before. His shot tolerance is not as good as before. His shot selection is not as good as before. It is not. That's why this matchup against Medvedev will be a difficult, brutal, hard one for Novak Djokovic. Because Medvedev, he will ask questions to Novak Djokovic endurance, to Novak Djokovic consistency, to Novak Djokovic's shot selection. He will ask all those questions to Novak Djokovic in tomorrow's final. And it will be made to be seen how Novak Djokovic will answer all these questions. But when it comes to serving, Novak Djokovic is not a decline. The opposite. He's serving as good, maybe even better than we have ever seen before. When it comes to returning, Novak Djokovic is not on decline. He's returning as good as he has ever been. You need to really have high percentage of first serves in tomorrow's final as his final opponent to hold your serve. If Novak Djokovic get a lot of looks on Daniil Medvedev's second serve, Daniil Medvedev will be in huge trouble. I strongly believe. So there you have Novak Djokovic's strengths. His defensive skills, his movements on the court. He moves like a tiger, like a cat, you name it. He glides like no one else on the hard courts. No one can glide as he does. It is difficult hitting through him. It is so difficult hitting through him. He can also play offensive tennis. He's not as passive as Andy Murray, even though that Novak Djokovic, he gets passive in clutch moments. In break points, set points, match points, he will not take risks. He will leave all the responsibility to his opponent for doing a winner and just challenging him and saying to him like he did against Federer in that 2019 final Wimbledon. He just becomes a wall and just sends the message and says, yeah, you are very close to defeating me. You are close of taking this match. You are close of breaking my serve. You are close of taking this set. But I will be a wall now. If you have the power, the ability, the strength, the mentality, hit through me, do a winner. I will not do an unforced error. So, in close moments, in tight moments, in clutch moments, Djokovic never takes risks. He just becomes that goalkeeper, the greatest, like I call him sometimes, the greatest goalkeeper of all time. He will not miss. When they asked Medvedev after his match against Tsitsipas, what is the most challenging thing to face Novak, Medvedev, he answered like this. He said, when he is in the zone, that is the hardest thing with him. When he's in the zone, he doesn't miss. He just refuses to miss. No matter if it's backhands or forehands or you name it. He just goes in that mode, in that not missing mode, and he becomes a wall. Literally speaking, he becomes like taking a tennis ball and hitting towards a wall. What happens when you take a tennis ball and hitting towards against the wall? What happens? Yeah, we all know what happens. The ball comes back every single time at you. And Djokovic becomes exactly the same thing as a human being. He just becomes a wall when he's in that zone. But thanks God for the ATP Tour, he doesn't play like that all the time, because if that was the case, he would never have lost one single tennis match in his career. But he can have patterns, he can have minutes, and they can be 20, 30, 1 hour when he goes in that don't miss mode wall, and you will not win points. You literally speaking, you will not win points. But of course, he doesn't play like that in an entire match. Not that he doesn't want, he can't. Nobody can. It is just literally speaking impossible. And that was, anyway, Daniil Medvedev's answer when he got that question yesterday. What is the most challenging thing facing Novak? He said, when he goes in that don't miss mode, it is so difficult hitting through him. He will not miss. He will not give you anything. So, Novak Djokovic, really great defensive, cannot create offensive as well, especially in fast surfaces, not in slow surfaces. In fast surfaces, he can create offense, guys. He doesn't have the firepower like Medvedev or like Nadal or like Federer. No, he doesn't. But on fast surfaces like it is on Australian Open and Wimbledon, it helps him doing winners, and we have seen it. And it helps him doing aces as well. He has done so many aces in this tournament. I have never seen Novak Djokovic doing this many aces like I've seen him do in this Australian Open. And that has to do with a very improved serve. Obviously, Goran Ivanisevic has done wonders and improved his serve. It has to do with the court being lighting fast. It has to do with these two things. And of course, he has trained, I guess, a lot on the off-season. He has only trained serve. Not only, but a lot. Serve, 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 serve. So he has these three things he has done. Ivanisevic has helped him improve his serve. The courts are helping him doing a lot of aces because the courts are lighting fast in this year's Australian Open. And he has trained a lot of serves on the off-season. You can clearly see that. So, Novak Djokovic, his strengths are, like I said, defensive skills, offensive skills in fast surfaces like Australian Open. His returns are unbelievable. His backhand, should not forget his backhand, even though I don't think his backhand is as good as before. He has started to decline a little with his backhand, but his backhand is also a big strength in his game, and not to forget his clutchness. Maybe his clutchness is his biggest strength, guys. When we get those close, big moments, those crunch moments, when the matches are even, when the matches are close, he just somehow he gets those superhuman's power, and many tennis players in the world, in big moments, they go down mentally. They go down in their level. Djokovic, the opposite, he goes up. That's why he has defeated Federer many times when he has saved match points. I believe 3 times he has defeated Federer when he has had match points against him. So, if you want to beat Novak Djokovic, do it in 3 or 4 sets. Because if the match goes to the distance, you will not beat him. You will not beat Novak Djokovic. He's a clutch beast. That's why I call him many times the clutchest tennis player of all time. Novak Djokovic is, in my opinion. Probably that is his strongest strength of all these other strengths that I mentioned in this video. Probably his mentality is his strongest strength. So, but Daniil Medvedev, of course, and they have similar game styles. They can hit their backhands on their sleep. So the cross-court backhand duels and rallies, I will be really curious to see. I don't think that Djokovic will be really in the mood to play cross-court backhands with Daniil Medvedev for a long time, because Daniil Medvedev never misses his backhand. Never misses. Maybe Djokovic misses his backhand more than Daniil Medvedev. So I don't think Djokovic will do the same mistake like Tsitsipas did in his semifinal. Djokovic, I think he will go cross-court backhand with Medvedev. say maybe 5, 6 trades, 7 trades, but eventually he will break that pattern and hit a down the line backhand. He will need to do that. He will need to do that. Djokovic cannot stay and play cross-court backhand with Daniil Medvedev for too long, because if he does that, Medvedev will wear Djokovic down, I believe. Because let's face it, Medvedev is 25 years old, Djokovic is 33 years old, almost 34. He will be 34 years old, Djokovic, in May. So Djokovic, he really should not go into a long brutal rallies here, because if the rallies goes brutal here, if the match goes 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, maybe Medvedev is the stronger one physically. You know, to be quite honest, I don't know who is the strongest physically here, who is the fittest here, because yeah, we maybe should think Medvedev should be the strongest one here, he's the younger one, but I heard Medvedev say after the Rublev match he was cramping, so that is a little alarm sign to me. Why he cramped against Rublev in a 3-set victory? So if the match goes to 4 sets, 5 sets, who will cramp here? Will Medvedev, a player who is 8 years younger than his opponent, almost 9 years younger, will Medvedev cramp here and not Djokovic? So I don't know, man. Who is the strongest physically here? I don't have any idea. I'll be honest. I don't know. So, but anyway, I don't think that Djokovic, he should take himself to long, brutal rallies here. I don't think, because I remember the last match they played in ATP 2 finals in London, which Medvedev won his straight set, 6-3, 6-3. After 6-7 games in that match, Djokovic was done. He was done. He was exhausted. He couldn't hang with Medvedev on the baseline. And that is the difficult thing here in this matchup. Medvedev is probably the only one in the world who can hang on with Djokovic on the baseline. Nobody else can do. Nadal cannot do that anymore, off clay, I mean. Team, yeah, he can do that to some extent, but team relies on firepower. Team doesn't rely on consistency on the baseline, shot tolerance, endurance. Team is, literally speaking, a firepower tennis player. He has huge ground strokes and he can hit through Novak Djokovic, enormous defensive skills. So, but Team cannot hang in with Djokovic on the baseline like Medvedev can do. Medvedev can hang on with Djokovic on the baseline much better than Dominic Thiem. That's why when this event started, I had 2 names who I truly believe could defeat Novak Djokovic and Australian Open. Only 2 names. Only 2 names. One of the names he crashed out already in the 4th round, which is Dominic Thiem. And the other name is Medvedev. I knew that Djokovic, he avoided Thiem. It is not Djokovic's fault, it is Thiem's fault. He never made it to that semi-final. But he avoided Thiem. And I'm convinced that he was really happy when he saw Thiem crashing out. Really, really happy. Because Thiem has had Novak's numbers the last 7 meetings with 5-2 in the head-to-head. Now Djokovic, he got the other huge challenger in the final, which is Daniil Medvedev. He avoided one, he couldn't avoid the second one. And so Djokovic, he knows this matchup will be brutal, tough for him. Daniil Medvedev is a Mount Everest mounting for Novak Djokovic to climb. And Novak knows this. I know this. You know this. The entire world knows this. The head-to-head is 4-3 to Novak Djokovic. But if you count the last 4 meetings, actually Medvedev leads 3-1. They have faced each other only 1 time in slams, and it was in this Slam Australian Open 2 years ago in the 4th round, and Novak won that match 4 sets. And actually Medvedev was one of few players who took a set from Novak Djokovic in that tournament. I believe the other one was Denis Shapovalov, if I'm not mistaken. So, but Daniil Medvedev is a much better tennis player 2 years later now than he was 2 years ago when he faced Novak Djokovic in that slam match in Australian Open in that 4th round. So this will be a hard pick, man. Djokovic is going for his 18th Grand Slam title, and Djokovic is playing his 28th Grand Slam final. Medvedev is going for his first ever Grand Slam title, and he's playing for his he's playing in his 2nd Grand Slam final. I think this match will be decided in 3 things, and of the reasons of these 3 things, where I will give my slight edge to the winner. Who will serve better? Even though that Medvedev has maybe slightly better serve. He has had a better serve in the past. But in this year's tournament, I'm not that sure that Medvedev has had a better serve, even though that Medvedev has dropped his serve, I believe, 8 times, and Djokovic has dropped his serve 11 times. So Djokovic has dropped his serve 3 more times than Medvedev. But on the other hand, Djokovic has played more sets because Djokovic has lost more sets. 5 sets Djokovic has lost, Medvedev has lost 2 sets. But anyway, Djokovic has lost his serve more than Medvedev in this year's Australian Open. Djokovic has lost his serve 11 times, Medvedev 8 times. I believe Djokovic has done more aces. Maybe I'm wrong. I have not counted this. I believe Djokovic has landed his first serve more than Medvedev. Djokovic has landed his first serve over 70% in 2 matches. Like I said, against Shorty, 76%, and against Alexander Sasha 73%. I don't know if Medvedev has landed his first serve over 70% in any of his matches, in any of his 6 matches in this Australian Open. I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. Comment down below if Medvedev has had one match that he has landed his first serve over 70% in this year's Australian Open. So the serve will be a key factor here. Who will serve better? Who will return better? And who will be the strongest in clutch big moments? And when I analyze these 3 things, who will serve better? Man, I don't know. Who has the best day tomorrow will serve better. But I have a feeling that Djokovic will land more first serves in than Medvedev. That is mostly the case. Daniil Medvedev isn't around 70% first serves in all the time in his career. He landed 68% first serves in against Tsitsipas, but if you look at his previous match against Rublev, he landed 60%. Daniil Medvedev, he needs to be around 70% first serves in to win this final. I don't think Daniil Medvedev will come away with a victory in landing 60%. Djokovic is not Rublev. Djokovic is a much better returner than Andrei Rublev. Djokovic is much better returner than all the players in the world. The only player who can challenge Djokovic on the return games is the opponent he's facing tomorrow, which is Daniil Medvedev. But I think that Medvedev, he really needs a high percentage of first serves badly in tomorrow's final. I don't think 60% will be enough. He will need to be around 68, 69, 70% first serves in. I don't think Medvedev will land 68, 69, 70% first serves in against Djokovic tomorrow. I don't think. He will give Djokovic a lot of looks with second serves. All respect to Daniil Medvedev's second serve, but his second serve is not as good as his first serve. Obviously, nobody has a better second serve than the first serve. So that is a key factor. I think Djokovic will land more first serves in, and when he lands more first serves in than Medvedev, he will do more damage on the serve plus points, because his serve will help him. Especially in this year's Australian Open, when I've never seen Djokovic serve as huge and as good as he has done in this year's Australian Open. So I think Djokovic maybe will slightly serve better than Medvedev. 1. 2, the returns. The returns. All respect to Medvedev's returns, but he still doesn't return as good as Djokovic. Djokovic is, for me, the best returner in the business. He's number 1. He's number 1. He asks you so huge questions. He really has a high level of returning. So if you don't serve good, he will punish you. If you don't land a lot of first serves in, he will punish you guys. You cannot afford to give Novak Djokovic too many of second serves. You cannot afford. You cannot afford. You just will not come away. So the returns are to me still better than Medvedev's. And then we have the clutchness. Who is better than Djokovic in big clutch moments, in big points, in set points, game points, break points, match points, you name it? Who is better? Nobody, guys, nobody. He's the clutch beast. It is for a reason that I am calling him the clutch beast. And when I analyze all these 3 things, serve, return, clutchness, which I think these 3 things will be the big factors and keys in the match. Because you need a big serve in tennis, especially in fast courts like this. You need. That's why that journeyman in the semifinal didn't stand a chance against Novak Djokovic in the semifinal because he was landing 52% first serve seed. With 52% first serve seed, Djokovic will eat you like breakfast, which he did. Gave that dude only 9 games. So, and then returns. The returns, Djokovic is number 1 in that category. He is number 1 player in the world, in the history, in returning serves. So he will ask a lot of questions to Medvedev if he will have a lot of high percentage of first serves in or not, which I don't think Medvedev will have. I have a feeling Medvedev will be around 60 to 63% first serves in, and I don't think that will be enough. Medvedev, to win this final, he needs to be around 70% in landing first serves in. There you have the second key of the match, and the third key, the big points. Man, the big point. Nobody wins more big points than Novak Djokovic. My God. He takes most breakpoint opportunities than anyone. He saves more breakpoint opportunities than anyone. He raises to occasion. He raises his level more than anyone in crunch big moments. He's the clutch beast for a reason. I call him the clutch beast for the reason. And that's why I'm calling, my prediction is that my heart says Daniil Medvedev. I really would love to see a new Grand Slam champion. Man, is it someone who deserves to win his first ever Grand Slam title? I think it is Daniil Medvedev. He's on a hot winning streak for 20 matches. Djokovic is also in a hot winning streak if you count his Australian Open victories, starting from the first one in 2019. I mean, in this streak, because the first one, of course, was when he first won his first Grand Slam Australian Open title was, of course, back in 2008. But I mean, in this streak, Djokovic also is on a hot winning streak in Australian Open with 20 victories. So both of these two have a hot 20 winning matches streak here. One streak will end tomorrow. I have a feeling that the streak that will end tomorrow will be Medvedev's. Man, I don't know. I have that feeling. So I'll give my slightly edge to Novak Djokovic with 51% and 49% to Daniil Medvedev. I don't think this will be a straight set victory for anyone. I will be shocked if Djokovic wins in straight sets in this match, and I will be shocked if Medvedev wins in straight sets. I think that this match will go to 5 sets. I don't know. I have that feeling. I think that this match will go to 5 sets, and in 5 sets, Medvedev doesn't have the greatest record, guys. He's 1-6 in 5 sets matches when the matches has gone to the distance. The first match he has ever won, Daniil Medvedev, actually, when the match went to 5 sets, was in the 3rd round against Filip Krajinovic. So he doesn't have the greatest record in 5 sets when the matches has gone to distance. So I think this match will go to the distance, and I think that even though the Djokovic is 8 years older than Daniil Medvedev, almost 9 years older, it is not any guarantee that he will be the more exhausted player. It is not, because Medvedev was cramping as Rublev in a straight set victory. So, of the reason of these 3 factors, who will serve better? That is a toss-up. Who will serve better? I don't know. That is a toss-up, guys. But the other 2 things, returning and clutchness, I give my edge to Djokovic there. I think that Djokovic will return better than Medvedev, and I think Djokovic will be the better player in the bigger points than Medvedev. And I think this will, in the end, give Novak Djokovic that edge, and he will cross that hard, difficult finish line. And I think he will be the winner and lift his 18th Grand Slam title. My heart says Medvedev. I will be honest. I would love to see Medvedev win this match. I swear to you guys, I would love. I will be honest. I'm not here to lie. I'm here to give my honest opinions, my honest emotions. I would really love to see Daniil Medvedev. He deserves it. I don't think his tennis style is boring. Yeah, it is not as fun or as beautiful to see Daniil Medvedev play like Roger Federer, who plays magical first strike tennis. But Djokovic's playing style is almost similar as Medvedev, if not similar. So if Medvedev's playing style is boring, like many calls Medvedev's playing style boring, then Djokovic is not that. Then Djokovic's playing style is not is as boring as Medvedev's, if we call Medvedev's tennis style boring. But I don't find Medvedev's tennis style boring. He's a chess player, he's a problem solver, he's a ball machine from the baseline, and the same thing is for Djokovic. Djokovic is also a problem solver on the court. He's also a chess player, he's also a ball machine. So neither of these two players' tennis styles is boring. But they are not as fun as Federer's, of course. So I would love to see Daniil Medvedev prevail in this final. My heart says Medvedev, but my brain says Djokovic. He has never lost an Australian Open final. He lost us a Grand Slam final just 4 months ago. He got a beat down there from Rafa Nadal. Will Djokovic lose a second in a row Grand Slam final? Man, I don't think so. I don't think so. So I give my slightest edge to Novak Djokovic of the reason of these three factors that I mentioned. So I will say Novak Djokovic win this one 3-2. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and see you next time. Peace.